Kathryn Crosby, actress and guardian of husband Bing's legacy, dies at 90. She had a showcase role in Anatomy of a Murder, 1959, but gave up her film career to marry one of the world's most popular entertainers. Kathryn Crosby, a 1950s Hollywood starlet who gave up her film career to marry Bing Crosby, the Oscar-winning actor, radio star and mellifluous, White Christmas, crooner, and as his widow became chief protector of his legacy after a damaging tell-all memoir by his eldest son, died September 20th at her home in Hillsborough, California. She was 90. The death was announced in a statement by publicist B. Harlan Boll, who did not know the cause. Throughout her childhood and adolescence, Kathryn Grant, as she was then known, dominated the Texas beauty contest circuit between Houston and Corpus Christi. A 5'3", auburn-haired stunner, she was crowned Golden Girl of the Texas Baseball League, Miss Buccaneer-Navy, dressed in pirate motif, and Queen of the Houston Rodeo and Fat Stock Exposition, for which she was teased among rivals and friends alike as Miss Fat Stock. She had met Crosby in 1953, a year after she was named first runner-up in the Miss Texas pageant and landed a Paramount Studios contract. She was 20 at the time and was on the studio lot, breathlessly ferrying a load of petticoats to the wardrobe department, when she rushed past Crosby, then 50 and a recent widower. He was leaning against the doorjamb of his dressing room, casually whistling a tune. "Howdy, Tex?" he asked with bemusement. "What's your hurry?" Crosby had been a box-office juggernaut on the lot for 2 decades, an audience favorite not only for his vaudeville-style, road movies with Bob Hope but also for his Oscar-winning turn as a singing priest in Going My Way, 1944. In her spare time between walk-on roles, the starstruck young Kathryn filed dispatches for newspapers back home under the title Texas Gal in Hollywood, and soon returned to Crosby to request an interview. "You a reporter?" Crosby asked. "I'm a columnist," she said. "The dickens you are," he replied. "I didn't know they came so pretty." Crosby agreed to the interview, then invited her to tea and later to dinner. She described an instant and mutual infatuation between herself and Crosby, who exuded a languorous sex appeal with his piercing blue eyes and the virile romantic baritone voice that had sold hundreds of millions of records, among them, Please, and Pennies from Heaven. Their courtship lasted nearly 4 complicated years. Crosby disappeared from her life for months at a time and jilted her twice, only to emerge with reinvigorated ardor. As he pursued other on-set romances, including with actresses Grace Kelly and Inger Stevens, Kathryn was determined to focus on her own pursuit of stardom. After being dropped by Paramount, she was picked up by Columbia Studios and promoted as a versatile leading lady. She had a featured role as a card dealer in the anti-corruption drama The Phoenix City Story, 1955, and co-starred opposite Audie Murphy in the western The Guns of Fort Petticoat, Jack Lemmon in the military comedy Operation Mad Ball, and Tony Curtis in the drama Mr. Corey, all in 1957. She was a princess in The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, 1958, a trapeze artist in The Big Circus, 1959, and in perhaps her best performance, a surprise witness in Anatomy of a Murder, 1959, holding her own in a cross-examination showdown with a slick attorney played by George C. Scott. By the time Bing Crosby eloped with her to Las Vegas in 1957, Kathryn, a Methodist, had converted to Catholicism at his insistence but extracted a promise that she could continue her career after their marriage. But he soon reneged, preferring she stay at home as he wound down into semi-retirement and managed his many business interests and investments, ranging from baseball teams to thoroughbred horses to real estate. She ultimately went alone. Mrs. Crosby later said she wished to give her husband a life vastly different from his anguished and thoroughly dysfunctional first marriage, to actress Dixie Lee, whose alcoholism left him so despairing that he often stayed away from home, leaving her and his children to fend for themselves. Lee died of ovarian cancer in 1952, and Bing's 4 sons from that marriage, Gary, twins Philip and Dennis, and Lindsay, became known for heavy drinking, self-destructive behavior and antipathy toward their father. Lindsay and Dennis committed suicide in 1989 and 1991, respectively. Kathryn had no role in raising the boys, all of whom were her contemporaries.